Welcome back to the Ambition Over Fear platform. Today I really want to dive into the healing of codependency. Now, this term gets thrown around a lot, and the actual definition of this term is sometimes neglected because we are so sure that we have healed codependency that sometimes within our system, our heart cannot take any more acknowledgement of something else we have to heal. But I want to tell you, in that moment of you realizing that there is another part of you you have to heal, it is in that moment when you actually evolve past the previous version of you. And one of the main reasons you're on this channel is because you have an inclination to grow. You have an inclination to push yourself and go beyond any limitation that life has given you. And it does not matter where you're from, how you grew up, or what trauma you encountered as a child, the religion you participated in, or the types of philosophical rhetoric that was occurring within your circle as you were growing up. Each one of us has a chance to heal. And some people may have a larger road of healing, but I want to tell you the law of polarity. The law of polarity is the deeper you go into your pain, that extreme exploration of one side of something gives you an understanding that there is an equal and opposite extreme on the other side. So the moment you start to realize that it is not about positive or negative, but healing and empowerment, when you're going into the deep, dark depths of who you are and you're really tapping into your emotions, I want you to allow your emotions to take over you for a moment. Give yourself an opportunity to actually heal the part of you that thinks feeling too much emotions and feeling vulnerable and weak is a bad thing. So the more you go and the more you realize on the extremity of how many things you would have to heal, in that moment, I want you in your conscious mind to realize that now you have revealed an entire list of things that are going to become positive traits that will actually allow you to move forward in life with more strength and clarity. So take and adopt that mind state. You know, during my videos, I will go into the deepest, darkest shadows of who you are, because it is in that moment where you're actually able to be authentic and honest with what you're healing from and what you would like to turn that healing characteristic into, so you can get closer into your dream life, a life that really fulfills your desires. Okay? So whenever I continuously bring up parts of who you are that need to be addressed or healed, when you're in that place of self-mastery, do not take that feeling as a position of self-judgment. Instead of, when you realize how many things you would like to heal in yourself, go from judging yourself and feeling overwhelmed because you realize that now you have another part of who you are to work on, and move into a space where you go, wow, I am healing so many things, and because of that, I am going to unlock so many power characteristics in myself going forward. Understand that the more you transmute, the more you're able to actually express your own power and your own voice and creativity and love. We have to get past that hump. We have to transmute the parts within that are holding us back so we can move into a future where we have nothing holding us back. So codependency is really common in my life because I grew up having codependency. And throughout my life, when I would be making interpersonal relationships, there was always an air of codependency that lingered wherever I went. And my interpersonal relationships started to really crumble, and I wasn't building any strong foundations for any of my friendships or romantic partners. And I started to ask myself, why is this happening? Because in that moment, I had gone through so much victimization in my life. I had been in a place where I was always saying, poor me, why is the world doing this to me, etc., etc. And I realized that I did not want to feel that way anymore. So instead of me feeling sorry for myself, I moved into a place where I said, what is going on within me that is creating relationships that are unhealthy? And what I then realized was it was all about codependency. Me having an inability to produce and manage my own energy. My thoughts were so chaotic and my mind was so large that I developed a huge set of mental disorders early on as a child. But I don't call them mental disorders, I truly call them mental gifts and powers, because when you look at somebody or a child that is labeled or diagnosed with a disorder, what truly is happening is that child has an enormous brain, an enormous awareness, and usually the reason why a person or a child is experiencing a disorder is they do not know how to handle or manage the energy that is going on within them. And that is initially the key, is to understand that when you are facing healing, when you realize that, hey, I might not be able to handle my own energy or my own thoughts, whether it's just from something you have realized or you have an awareness that you are living with certain mental gifts, what that means is you are very unique, and your mind and your emotions and your spirit and your energy is so elastic that there is no walls around who you are. Your imagination and your adventurous curiosity is what allows you to live life even with these disorders, but use them to your advantage, as in you can use codependency to your advantage. When you realize that you may be basing your identity off of someone else, and you start to feel as if the way other people feel about you is what you are now giving your power away. You know, codependency shows up in many ways. Another way is, you know, there is this huge science that came about called the 5 love languages. And this is the unique way that each person gives and receives affection by another person in an interpersonal relationship. Now, although the love languages are an actual thing, sometimes people with codependency can use love languages or a certain philosophical understanding of why they are the way they are to justify unhealthy practices in their life. So I urge you today, no matter if you're an extrovert or an introvert, or you have a certain love language, or whatever your gene keys or astrology or numerology says, you have to be aware of what is going on within. You have to be able to look at the deepest, darkest shadow of who you are to truly merge with every side of you. The more you start to enjoy your light and avoid your darkness is when you become a split individual. And in that moment, the circuitry of energy in your body is not connecting, because some of that circuitry is light and some of that circuitry is dark. And if you're only paying attention to the energy that is composed of light, then you are truly only activating half of the energetic receptors in your body. And so it leads to a huge highway that has traffic all over it. If you imagine your body is an energy system with meridians and chakras and quantum levels of energy that creates other energy, you can imagine highways all over your body. And when any part of one highway is blocked off, then the flow that things are allowed to move within is now not cohesive, it is not clear, and it creates gaps and energetic blocks. You know, codependency is really not knowing the difference between your energy and someone else's. And a lot of empaths and hypersensitives really occur and experience a lot of codependency because an empath may not know how to differentiate between their energy and someone else's. An empath has an inclination to heal. And you know this because my audience and the group of people that I am really pushing to help and evolve are the empaths. So if you're an empath, I want you to realize that your hypersensitivity is a tool that can allow you to tap into energy that is not you. And this allows you to truly observe the world and the universe from a very philosophical and curious position, because now you can experience the world and the universe as if you are watching TV and you're just tapping into this person's energy and this energy and this planet and this energy and this planet. Instead of adopting the energy, I need you as an empath that might have codependency to observe and honor and be entertained by the energy without attaching to it. Now, I know as an empath, we go through a lot of energetic deficiency. You know, as an empath, we attract people that need healing because we are the healer. And the only reason that we are the healer is because we know that we need to heal so much. So we step up and become the healer instead of waiting for somebody else to come in. And that what can also lead to codependency is if you're an empath and you can feel everybody, do not feel the need to extend beyond your care and try to overgive because you wished that somebody had overgiven to you at some point in your life. As an empath, we are very sensitive to ourselves and other people, and we are very aware of our emotions and our mind and our pain. And so sometimes being this archetype can truly lead us into searching for energy that can replenish our deficiencies. And what we end up doing is we end up vampiring other people for energy because we do not know how to produce our own energy. And when I say vampire, I'm not talking about an actual vampire, I mean the verb of vampiring, to take without giving, okay? And so realize that as an empath is truly, it's about you understanding how to produce your own energy, and you realizing that even though you have a lot of healing to do, you have to step up as the healer and heal yourself. But see, then what happens when an empath becomes their own healer is they start to see other people that are suffering, and they go, oh, I'm going to be your healer because I wished somebody had healed me when I was down. No, everything that you went through is exactly how it was supposed to happen. You were in a position of trauma and imbalance, and that extreme of polarity made you have to learn a skill in the opposite polarity. Polarity teaches. When you're consistently in energetic disempowerment and you feel as if you do not have your own energy, then your next move to survive is going to be learning how to produce your own energy, learning how to sustain your own energy. And sometimes skill sets are not developed without a need for that skill set to be developed. Sometimes strength is not developed until you have to feel strong because you feel weak. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a list of situations that might occur. And if you hear this situation and you resonate with it, this is an opportunity for you to realize that you may be embodying this specific codependent trait. And if that is you, don't feel the need to repel or judge yourself or deflect and say, I don't have that. Take an honest look and ask yourself if you feel in your emotional body an activation. If you feel something when I say these things, then you might be embodying and acting out of this codependent trait, and I'm going to show you how to shift it today. So the first codependent trait I'm going to talk about is having a need for other people to validate yourself or your work or your emotions. Now, a lot of times we can move into a space where we may realize as a human being that we're people pleasing and we are doing things for other people just so they will like us more and just so they won't leave us. Instead of being confident in ourselves that what we bring to the table is so unique that we truly believe that there is a group of people that will be attracted to our natural state. But when you're people pleasing and you're depending on somebody else's validation for who you are, this usually occurs because when you were growing up, you had a large motivation to try to get the attention of your parental figures or your friends because they might not have given you the attention you have wanted. So as you go through life, your subconscious mind goes, how can we fix that? And your mind goes, I do not want to feel that feeling again of having a loved one really show me a level of separation and distance, because then that makes us feel like we do not deserve to be loved. So how to transmute people pleasing is really moving into a space. And also, this doesn't only pertain to people pleasing, but it really outlines needing the validation of other people to feel confident in who you are and what your decisions are. And this also can come from a lack of confidence and not trusting who you are or your intuition or the next move you're going to make in life, because you moving forward in life through the unknown and trying new things is such an adventure. Without going into the unknown, life is very bleak. How do you heal that? is you realize that whenever you're looking for somebody else for love that you cannot give yourself, then it is time for you to learn how to love yourself so much that you're not even concerned about how other people are going to give you love. Whenever you're concerned about what other people think of you, in that moment, it is time for you to truly realize, do you accept where you've been, who you are, and where you want to go? Now, I know a lot of you have dreams and parallel realities you would like to jump into, and versions of who you are that you would like to embody. So you have an idea of where you want to go, but you have to truly accept the different timelines or egoic versions of yourself. And by ego, I mean an identity of thoughts and emotions that you have about yourself and the world around you. As we move through life, we embody different versions of who we are. Those are different egos, which is just different identities. You have to accept the old identities of who you are and what you have done, and truly look at it from a place of neutrality and non-judgment. Enough so you can nurture that part of you with the divine feminine, and then with the divine masculine, you understand how to transmute that part of you. So that is a huge part of that. And then also, it's very important to realize that as you're moving through these spaces, take time to accept who you are and what you have done, and understand that your soul has asked for this experience. So that is how you heal an idea of truly caring about what people think about you. And people pleasing is realizing that how other people view you is not your responsibility. How you view yourself is your responsibility, and that will project out and attract people that accept you. Maybe the reason you're around people that do not accept you is because your internal world creates your external world. So you inside truly didn't accept yourself, so you manifested a bunch of people that did not accept you. Step 3 of how to recognize a codependent trait and heal it is feeling as if you need to save or help or heal everybody. I have been around this carousel way too many times, and now I'm learning as a healer and a shaman that my gifts of reading the akashic records and rewiring somebody's energetic DNA and encoding and being psychic and having an ability to extract subconscious information, all of those skill sets that I possess have been abused by the people in my life, because they have seen that I hold the answer to their questions, so they felt as if they were obligated to all of my healing in time. When you have this feeling that you need to save and heal and help everybody, what you're truly doing is saying that I do not have the energy or the patience to look at my own world and heal the parts of my own life that need to be healed in order for me to move forward. A lot of people, including myself, that go to heal and try to save everyone around them is because we ultimately are looking for a distraction from ourselves. So take that opportunity to really focus on healing yourself and saving yourself and growing yourself. And no matter how dark your self is, realize that you are a shadow worker and a light worker. You are shamaning your experience, which is truly being in the deepest, darkest places and learning how to find the diamonds so you can go to the highest and most powerful places. It's so key. So take in that opportunity. Step 4, or the 4th codependent trait that you can realize, And when you realize that you may have a codependent trait, just take time to act in alignment with how I'm explaining the healing of it. And that can always help. The fourth codependent trait is feeling as if you are always doing something wrong and it is always your fault. And this leads to a victimhood, a way of looking at yourself where you believe that the world and everyone around you is out to get you. And by you having this internal belief, based on the laws of metaphysics, anything inside of your system projects out as a reflection so you can see it in the world around you and absorb it with your five senses. So when you believe that you're a victim and that the world is out to get you and people are out to betray you, you're truly going to create those experiences because your soul is here in this human body as a way for you to understand the power of manifestation that you have on this planet in this dimension. That everything you see around you is a projected reality of the internal system of emotionalized beliefs that you are holding on to about yourself and the world. A lot of times we can come into a victimhood mentality when throughout our lives, even when we are a child, we are in a place of being left alone so much and feeling as if we cannot get through our thoughts by ourselves. So there are times where the victim archetype is created because as a child we get so much help that as we are going through our developmental years, we do not learn how to fully cope and self-soothe and handle our own troubles. But at the same time, it can go the opposite direction where a victim archetype is created because a child or a teenager or an adult goes through so much trauma and the people around them do not seem to validate that trauma or even understand that they're going through something. So that person goes, I'm going to make sure that I'm not crazy in believing that all these bad things are happening to me because nobody else sees it. And we go through so much pain and levels of trauma happen as experiences continue to come in throughout our lives, that a part of us wants to validate our pain. And we validate our pain because in that moment when we are getting pushed down by our pain, we genuinely feel helpless. And we genuinely feel as if, why is this happening to me? So the victim archetype sometimes is created because a person wants to hold on to, why did something happen to me? And the level of not being able to cope with why something happened or accept it or transmute it. So by them feeling as if they're a victim and all these bad things continually happen to them, they can feel as if they don't have to take responsibility for anything they've created, because when they take responsibility, it turns into self-guilt because we have not been taught to look at things with a level of neutrality and that our soul is just creating a unique experience that have a different type of emotion. We're not taught to look at things with curiosity, bad and good, and be able to enjoy pain and pleasure because we're so used to running from pain and going towards pleasure. Pain has a lot of honor in it. When you're feeling your pain, you're acknowledging the emotional reaction that you're having long enough for you to feel as if you can honor your emotions, because emotions are not always logical. So you have to honor whatever your emotions feel, good or bad, so you can truly understand what an emotion is. It is just you experiencing something different in this body. And whatever that thing is, it is meant for you to sit and hold on to and embody that emotion long enough for you to understand what that energy is. One more thing I want to discuss is when you are feeling as if nobody wants to be around you, or all you do is push people away, and your energy is too much, what you're really doing is taking something going on inside of you, which is you not being able to handle your own energy, you not liking parts of yourself because you're basing the template of what a good person is from society and religion, instead of you understanding that you're just here to experience whatever comes up. And if you choose to not align with that experience anymore, then you can choose to do so. But the only way to pull in a new energy is to heal the old energy. And the only way to do that is to remove the association you have with that area of life that keeps producing that energy. Understand that the more you accept who you are, your intensity, and the parts of your soul that shine, and the characteristics that you've chosen to embody depending on the ego you've chosen to create. And remember, the ego is simply a way for you to decide what experiences your soul has in this body by creating a program of thoughts and emotions about the world in your mind, and those thoughts and emotions repeat and then manifest that experience. Who you are is a life you create. Who you are is your ego. Decide who you want to be to create a life of your desire. Just don't let the program of thoughts and emotions that has been created throughout your life based on your external stimuli, your religion, your school, your friends, your childhood, don't let those experiences and that default ego run your life. That's the main thing that people need to take away from old spiritual philosophies saying that the ego is dangerous. You have to debunk the program that is not working to create a new program. Your mind is a computer. Put a program in there so your mind knows what thoughts to produce. So today, choose to produce thoughts that encircle you, feeling accepting of who you are, and that you want to be around your energy no matter what you're going through, because it's yours. You do this and you'll switch the idea that people don't want to be around you, or that you're too intense, or you always push people away. Because what that does is that is simply a way for you to continually latch onto people's energy in your life because you're so afraid of people not sticking around. It is a way for your mind to justify vampiring energy from people because you are always in a state of thinking you're going to lose somebody. So you're always going to want to thrust your energy into that person to show them who you are and prove to that person who you are, thus reinforcing the idea of you needing someone else to validate who you are. And then you feel as if, okay, if I can connect to this person, they won't leave. So it's a way for your mind to justify you vampiring and pulling in their energy into your system to help yourself. The mind will code any information that we want it to. Just because your mind believes something is real, it doesn't always necessarily happen that way. Your mind is a tool, and once you understand how your mind works, you can use it to create new structures within your mind. Use your mind to outsmart your mind. Use your mind to manipulate your mind. And once your mind is under your control, then now the control system of energy that is sending energy out in this world, and that energy is coming back by experiences and people and opportunities that manifest before your eyes. So I just want to say thank you for coming on, you beautiful empath, you amazing hypersensitive, you wonderful wizard. Everything you do is pushing the collective up. Every time you bring in and channel information, you are upgrading your DNA. Whenever you allow your imagination to roam outside of your body, whenever you live beyond the natural laws of the way this third dimensional world works, is the minute you realize the laws of other dimensions, and you're able to take your hypersensitivity and your hyper awareness to tap into really unique parts of this universe. You have the Philosopher's Stone, which is your hypersensitivity. Until next time, stay powerful, keep going forward. Life is a game, and just learn how to play the game long enough for you to win every single time.